Hello and welcome to part two of the Bronco Exchange. I'm your host, Dr. Shanessa Fenner, and today we have two wonderful physically fit guests. We have LaShawn Yates and Kim Fleming. Welcome back, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, they're from All About Fitness. We like to say hello again to Dwayne Webb, who's the founder of All About Fitness. Now, ladies, you all have a black tie affair coming up.
Yes.
Kind of talk with me a little bit about that. It sounds like fun.
It is. I went to the one last year. It was actually my first time going. This is our fourth annual All About Fitness affair event. We do it every year. Like I said before, as far as being totally fit, everyone's invited, anyone's invited pretty much. If you've accomplished anything as far as being, like I said, physically fit, legally fit, financially fit, spiritually fit, you are invited. The event is December 14th. It'll be from 6 to 9 p.m. It gives everyone a chance to actually get out there, get dressed, and show off those new bodies that they work so hard for to get. And every year, this is actually the only event that we actually charge for, because everything else that we do throughout the year is free, and all that goes back into the community again, as far as workout equipment and seminars and things to help the community.
Okay, so what time and what's the location?
The location will be the time will be 6 o'clock to 9 p.m.
Okay.
December 14th, it'll be at the Iron Mike Conference Center on Fort Bragg.
Okay, okay, I've heard of that. Okay, great. And the cost?
The cost for the tickets are $35. Mm-hmm. You can actually get with Dwayne Webb. Just email him at his email, aafitnessclubtrainer@gmail.com, and he'll give you all that information. And you just come on and get dressed and come on out and dance with us, and we'll have a great time. We have a lot of entertainment.
Okay, sounds like fun. Now let's talk a bit about the different drives you all have had this year. I know you've had the hygiene drive, back to school. I think you also had a Thanksgiving drive.
Yes.
Let's start off with the Thanksgiving drive. Tell us about that.
I will.
That's
our
amazing.
Thanksgiving Bags of Love, and I am a fairly new volunteer with All About Fitness, so I came on board around October, just as we were still collecting donations for that, and was able to be a part of that drive this year. The Thanksgiving Bags of Love is just what it sounds like. What we want to do is show some love to the community for those that are in need of having that meal provided for whatever reasons. And we all have circumstances that we can come upon or have been upon or dealt with at some point in our lives. So the Thanksgiving Bags of Love doesn't require anything except a quick email with name, contact information, what the need is for. For instance, I lost my job this year, or my house caught fire, or I'm a single mom of 4 children, which I know all about that. So that's what that's about. And we're so blessed to have Ambassadors for Christ Worship Center to host that as location for where we gave away those bags of love this year. Okay. We feed over 800 people last year. This year we touched about 150 different families, and they can be a single person or have as many children. But we try to make sure it's a complete meal for Thanksgiving, including the turkey and trimmings. Okay. And all of that, we rely on donations from wonderful partners in the community to achieve that each year.
Okay, so that's great. 150 families. That was wonderful. Yeah. And where did they have to go to pick up this?
This was at Ambassadors for Christ Worship Center, off of Fayetteville Road in Rayford.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the hygiene drive.
The hygiene drive is usually the drive we start out every year with. What we do is, like to say, we partner up with other people, other churches and organizations, and we collect items such as soap, deodorants, toothbrush, toothpaste, and we make these cute little kits for them, and we pass them out to the homeless or anyone that needs it. A lot of people contact us from schools or other churches that they need these little bags of hygiene products for either their kids or families that they know of. So we spend the first quarter of our year collecting those items for them so that we can pass those out. So
okay. Now, when you're passing things out, Kim, are there like certain locations that you go to, or how do you figure out where you're going to go to pass them out?
Well, a lot of times we do, like sometimes I'll keep some in my car. So if I'm driving somewhere in an area and I do see someone who's there who's might be homeless or something or might need it, I'll pass them out individually. We do give them to a lot of our members or committee members. They'll kind of pass them out as we see people. Other times, most of the times we'll get requests in a church, or someone might call and say, hey, you know, I have a family or some people at my church that, you know, need this, or we're doing something and we need some hygiene products, and they'll tell us how many and everything, and we'll get in contact with them and do a drop off.
Okay.
So.
All right, what about the back to school drive?
Oh, the back to school, we partner up with the Got Your Back. They had this year on Fayetteville State, so we partner up with Kevin Brooks, and that was amazing. We collected supplies, school supplies, basically basic items, composition, notebooks, paper, pencils, and we take those items, we collect them, and we get backpacks also. So Kevin Brooks actually helps us get all these backpacks for these kids, and I believe this year we did like over 700 backpacks for kids. So they didn't have to fill out no application or anything, they just had to come out there and pick them up. Okay. So we passed those out. We had a lot of little events and things out there for the kids and all. But what makes us a little different is during that, we start early when we do our back to school drive, but what makes us a little different is whenever that time comes around between July and August, when everyone's doing those drives, makes us all about fitness a little different, is that we actually give those supplies out throughout the year. So if someone later on, let's say after Christmas, says, you know, I really am in need, you know, we don't have, you know, the funds to get these school items for our children, we actually keep a bit of a little storage so that we can still supply them with school supplies.
Okay, so if someone's listening right now, they just need to contact you and
Yes.
let you know that they need some items.
Yes.
Okay, got it, all right. Let's talk a little bit about feeding the homeless. I know you and I talked earlier before we started taping about how you all also help with feeding the homeless.
Well, we do that also whenever I think the last time I did it, I know last Christmas, I spent my Christmas, we partnered up with the Force of Life of Fayetteville Church, and we went down to the Dream Center. We actually partnered with them, and I went down there and I fed the homeless. So that's what I did for Christmas. That was kind of my gift. I was like, you know, I don't need anything. You know what I want to do? So I went down there this past Christmas and last year, and that's what we did. They do it every Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the morning, and it's at the Dream Center, and they do a lot of feeding the homeless. So, yeah. We enjoy that.
Okay. Now, LaShawn, you and I were talking earlier about PTSD and your podcast.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Dwayne and I, we met around discussing the podcast, and that's what really drew me to All About Fitness and hearing about that mental fitness portion as well. So I was inspired to start the podcast called The Only Four Letters Podcast, and it's about anonymous PTSD narratives. I basically, on volunteer basis, I receive an active duty, retired, or veteran inquiry, and we schedule an interview, and I let them speak openly about what it is they want to get off their chest as it relates to PTSD. I was inspired by my ex-husband to start that podcast, and it's really my contribution to the community, because there's a big educational piece to that. This affects, you know, the people that we love, church members, co-workers, you know, that grocery store clerk you don't know, and there's really no look to something like that. That's one of those things that is an invisible wound.
So what can you tell us about PTSD, and how should one, you know, cope with it or deal with it?
What I can tell you is that it can affect anyone. It's not just related to military service.
Okay.
I started the podcast with a focus on military service. However, I've opened it up since to anyone that has had a diagnosis because of any type of trauma in their lives. And I can tell you that everyone copes differently.
Okay.
I can tell you that therapy is a priority. And it's also something that a lot of people don't pursue because of the stigma attached to receiving therapy or counseling. That's where that mental fitness comes in. I really am an advocate for anybody pursuing the resources and getting the help that they need. And the military is big to offer those at no cost and it's something that is really vital from what I've seen, the trend in keeping relationships together, families together. But it really, really is important that everyone in a person's life be educated around PTSD.
Now, as far as your podcast, are you giving some of the resources that, you know, a person with PTSD or their family members can go to, of course, obtain that help? Because like you said earlier, you know, they may not want the therapy, but of course it's much needed.
Absolutely. So the good news is I think all of the interviewees I've had so far have had some sort of therapy.
Okay.
It's the ones that have stuck with it that are thriving right now. So in those episodes, you'll hear that, and they let you know where they went. Although you don't know their names and they're just a shadow in the background, they're open about, you know, whether it was the vet center or somebody in their command referred them to, you know, a psychologist. I have them listed on my website too, which is www.theonly4letters.org. And the only 4 letters is focusing on hero. Instead of PTSD, which has the 4 letters, we're focusing on HERO, because anybody living with PTSD is certainly a hero.
Okay. All right. Kim and LaShawn, talk with me a little bit about some of the upcoming things or the future goals of All About Fitness.
Oh, future goals.
Yes, future
Expansion
Yes.
is a big future goal.
goals. Okay, talk with me about that.
So right now, the Fayetteville chapter is the main chapter. We are kind of like the hub, since this is where, you know, Dwayne founded it. And we have a lot of the administrative things here at the Fayetteville, in the Fayetteville chapter. The other chapters are the DC area, South Carolina,
Okay.
the Texas chapter.
Yep, Alabama.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so we are hoping that each of those chapters will start to grow and be staffed that way as well with volunteers.
Okay.
And we can, you know, start to open up across the country with willing people that see the impact that All About Fitness is making, perhaps in a neighboring state. You know, Facebook, social media is big to help us kind of widen our net. And there are people that we see watching, even if they don't comment, they're watching those videos.
Yes.
You know, it's inspiring to them. So the expansion is really a priority. We would just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity for free to be their best and live their most fit life. So.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if someone's watching and they like to volunteer, how can they volunteer and what kinds of things can they volunteer to help do?
Oh, wow. They can definitely, if they want to, just like I said, they can contact me. They can go to, our email.
Okay, give us the email again.
The email is aafitnessclubtrainer@gmail.com.
Okay.
So they can go ahead and just, whatever it is they want to do, if they want to volunteer, they can definitely contact us, and we'll definitely show them what they can do. We'll give them,
We have
we'll push them towards it.
opportunities all the
We
time.
have all the time.
Roadside cleanups,
Yes.
collecting donations for all those 4 drives that we're doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, throughout all the drives that we have throughout the year, we're always in need of help. So anyone that wants to volunteer, we're open hand. We want you in there. We're trying to get basically everyone in the community to come and help serve, you know, help the community out.
Now, how do you motivate someone who has a very busy life? They don't have time to hardly do anything extra. How do you motivate that person to want to get up from their sofa or their bed to go exercise? That is very, very hard to do, Kim.
I'd like to say something. I'm sorry, Cam.
No,
I'm gonna
go
cut you
ahead.
off.
You got it. You got it.
No.
Go ahead.
Just
LaShawn?
speaking on the very busy life thing, I don't think anyone can live their best, very busy life even without having some level of fitness in their lives. What good is a very busy schedule
Exactly.
if you're, you know, lethargic
Yes.
or dealing with the effects of a physical ailment or
Yes.
stressed out completely, you know,
Yes.
which doesn't exercise help?
It
Now, you can help me
does.
with this.
It does.
I want to say Kim is a beast. She's
It
great at what
is.
she
I
does.
love it.
I came to her class and it really solidified my relationship with All About Fitness.
It does.
But the endorphins, I mean, I was feeling real good. The whole family was feeling real good
It is.
after
It's
her
a
class.
wonderful feeling, because when you come with all that stress, I always tell you, you know, just leave that at the door. Come on in, and whether you got to yell, jump, scream, do it all in class. Just let it all out, and you'll feel so much better at the end. I always tell them, I said, but you know, that's what you have to do. You know, with fitness, and Oh wow! I always tell people it's amazing because I told them I can just have the worst day ever, and then I come and I teach, and it's totally different. I'm leaving with a smile, totally different person. So
Game changer.
exactly, it is. It is definitely a game changer. So
So,
but at All About Fitness, what makes it even better with us is that we are like a family. You don't just come to class and then leave class and then that's it. You don't hear anything about anyone else. But what we do is we kind of make that connection with each other, and we try to keep in contact with each other in your class. So no matter what, like I said, we're like a family. So if somebody's missing, you're gonna know. You're gonna be like, hey, where's Miss Angela at? I haven't seen her in a while. Somebody's gonna contact her. We try to keep accountability partners there, you know, because no one ever goes unseen. We know who you are. We know when you're missing, and most likely we're gonna contact you and say, hey, where have you been? Are you okay? You know, you need help working out. Maybe we can help. You know, we try to motivate people by being accountability partners for each other. So, you know, you always need that one person that's tough, and it's just like, no, you're gonna work out. Come out today. You know.
Okay.
So
to answer your question, you have to make time.
yes.
There's nothing that you can do to substitute the benefits that fitness brings. So as busy as you are, it needs to be a priority. If your, you know, self-care is a priority, then you'll make time for that fitness. I know my mom watches soap operas with her dumbbells, you know what I mean? Or while on the treadmill, fit it in.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, LaShawn and Kim. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Our pleasure. Thank
Yes.
Thank
definitely.
you. And thank you, viewing audience, for looking at the Bronco Exchange. I'm your host, Dr. Shanessa Fenner. Have a good one.
So very much hypnotized. Familiar stranger, stranger. Wait, hold up, don't